Hey everybody, it's Lynn Hayes. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk about the astrology for the upcoming week. I'm a few days late. I was traveling in Greece for the first time and that trip was so amazing to me. I learned so much about the ancient Greece, of course, and the mythology that we all know about. But the thing that really interested me so much was how the ancient sites were all built on goddess worshiping sites that had been there for millennia. And I wrote a little blog post about that, and I'll post the link in the description box. I hope you'll enjoy that. Also, I'll be writing my monthly report that should be coming out sometime today. I wrote the whole report this morning, and it all disappeared into the internet. So next time I'll be sure to compose it somewhere else and then copy and paste. But in any case, if you would like to be on my mailing list, I will also include a link to that so that you can sign up. I send a monthly report every month on where the planets are. So of course you can check in here and get the weekly report, but this will give you sort of a month overview so you can plan your month. So right now, the biggest single thing that's happening in the sky is the alignment of Saturn and Pluto. They're within 2 to 3 degrees last month and this month. This is as close as they're going to get until January of 2020. So what does that mean for us? I think I posted something about this a few weeks ago, but Saturn and Pluto are the heavyweights of the astrological pantheon. Before Pluto was discovered, Saturn was the planet of death. It had to do with experiences that were hard and challenging that really made us work for what we wanted. And it's sort of a dour, not very fun planet, but it's essential because if we don't have Saturn, we don't work towards anything, we can get lazy, nothing ends up happening. Pluto is a little different. It's an outer planet. So the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they work more as transformational forces. They're inspiring us towards transformation and personal evolution. And what Pluto really wants is absolute truth. When we have a transit of Pluto, or when Pluto is influencing our own life, we don't really have very much control over what happens. But we often find that those passages are extremely transformational. They help us to let go of things that maybe aren't working. Maybe we lose our job, but then we realize, I hated that job anyway. So that's the kind of thing that Pluto does. It's sort of like a tornado that lifts up your house, swirls it in the air. You don't know where it's going to fall, but then you end up in a new life. So that's what we're dealing with here with Saturn and Pluto. To make it a little more complicated, intense, potentially challenging, the south node of the past is also tied in. The south node was conjunct Pluto, and I posted a video about that a couple of weeks ago, and now the south node is conjunct Saturn. So the south node, I think of the nodes of the moon, they're the opposite points in the sky where the path of the moon crosses the path of the sun. I think of them as being signposts. So the south node says, here's where you've come from. The north node says, here's where you're going. So when the south node is activated by planets, or maybe the south node in our chart is triggered, often there's something that emerges from the past that we have to deal with, that we have to face, or we have to resolve. Some sort of unfinished business comes up. Now, there's not always unfinished business that we have to deal with, and then this may not be affecting you in this particular way. And this may not even be a past karmic situation. It may just be a behavior pattern that is holding you back that really needs to change. That's what this Saturn, South Node, Pluto is all about. That's what's happening here. So I just want to mention Eris. Eris is a new planet. It was discovered a few years ago. And Eris moves very slowly. So most astrologers don't really work with it so much in the natal chart. But it does seem to be connected with bizarre experiences that come out of nowhere that create incredible change. And maybe I'll do another video about Eris where I can talk about her in a little more depth. But Eris is also tied in with this whole Saturn-Pluto dynamic. So there could be some unusual situations that just throw discord. Eris is the goddess of discord. We may find that like just situations that are like, what the heck is happening here? So more about that later, but that dynamic is sort of peaking now. It started at the end of April, it's peaking now. If you're in a situation like that, just keep breathing, let go of what needs to be let go of, process what needs to be processed. By the middle of May, this all should be starting to move away. And that leads me to some other good news. So unlike the past few months or other months when there's a lot of planetary interaction and change, May is pretty calm. Once we get past Saturn, Pluto, May is all about sort of grounding and settling into more peace and equanimity. We're going to have a new moon in Taurus on the 4th. That's going to help to calm things down. Taurus is all about the physical. It's all about our connection to Earth. It's all about finding a way to find comfort and peace in our surroundings, to connect with the earth in a very real way, to garden, to spend time with actual dirt, transplant some of your plants, bring flowers into the home, eat delicious foods. These are things that help to ground us in our body, and that's going to be sort of the theme for the next few weeks. Right now, Mercury, the planet of the mind, is in Eris, which is very active. For some of us, this may be keeping us up at night, making it difficult to sleep. Mercury in Eris is always thinking, always having ideas and wanting to take action on everything. And right now, for the next, between May 1st and May 3rd or 4th, Mercury is going to interact with 4 different planets. So it's very active, a lot of mental energy. May be difficult to focus that. You may find yourself just sort of flitting around. It's an excellent time for meditation. Doing anything that's going to just calm the nerves, calm the mind, quiet things down. On the 4th, when we have the new moon in Taurus, we also have an opposition from Mars to Jupiter. Mars is in the sign of Gemini, where it's difficult to focus. Gemini likes to have a lot of different experiences, and Mars is just going after them. So this is actually what we call mutual reception, because Mercury is in the sign of Mars, and Mars is in the sign of Mercury. If that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. If it does, I hope you find it interesting. What's important about all of that is that the symbolism of the mind and communication is very tied in with the principle of action right now. Those two are working together. So this is a very good time to make a plan, to take some action. But again, once we get into the new moon in Taurus, that will start to calm things down. Then Mercury will move into Taurus on the 8th. That will help to continue this calm and this peace and this drive towards equanimity. So I hope you have found this helpful. I hope that you will subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much and have a wonderful week.